Hi, friend. It's Abhishek with my colleague, Dr. Jyoti Arora. And it's a
Hello.
great pleasure to share with you our one of the articles uh, is published in International Journal that is um, that is published from Federation of Australia Astrology in June 2025 edition, volume 55. So actually, we have a lot of other publications in other reputed journals also. But why we are sharing this news to you because it's a very important article. The article here, the Western versus Vedic astrology by Abhishek Kumar and Jyoti Arora. So that article is drawing the line between between Western astrology and our Vedic astrology, Eastern astrology, because what we are experiencing, there is no clear understanding among the students and practitioner of this great divine science, the demarcation line between the Western and Eastern astrology. There are two separate systems. We can look at a chart through one system at one time and other system at second time to revalidate. That can be also instruction from our sages also. But overlapping at the same time and not understanding how those two separate systems are operating. So that's the issue basically. So that was the need of the hours to tell the community what is the basic difference, and that's why this is the whole idea to write this article, and it has been published, accepted in the uh, in the international journal. So Vedic versus Western astrology, differences and unique approaches. So how we go like that, is very important. That's why we have started with this some preface sort of thing, the philosophical foundation basically. So if you allow me, then I can go for that one. Starting with the philosophical foundation, and then entered into the differentiation, the comparison, and of the two approaches. So we know astrology, an ancient system of understanding cosmic influences on human life that evolved into multiple traditions worldwide. Among them, Vedic astrology, Avarjyotish, and Western astrology stand as two prominent schools. Both systems aim to provide insights into personality, faith, and life events. But they differ significantly in methodology, philosophical foundation, and practical application. While Vedic astrology is deeply rooted in Vedic scriptures and follows a deterministic karmic approach, Western astrology has evolved with a psychological and symbolic perspective. In this article, we are going to explore these differences and unique approaches with references to the classical texts, shedding light on their historical evolution, core principles, and practical applications. So, the first section is the philosophical foundation of the Vedic astrology, Jyotish. Vedic astrology rooted in Vedas, we know it's a Vedanga, particularly the Brihat Parasahora Shastra and Jatak Parijat, emphasis karma, dharma, and moksha. It considers astrology a divine science, Vedanga, deeply integrated with Hindu philosophy, where past life karma determines present experiences. The belief is that planetary placements at birth are not random, but are consequences of past karmic actions, and an individual's life events unfold based on these karmic imprints. This deterministic framework is further reinforced by the concept of dasa, planetary periods, which map out the timeline of person's life events. The Vinsotri Dasa system, one of the most widely used in Vedic astrology, divides human life into periods ruled by different planets, each affecting life events based on its placement in natal chart. These planetary periods allow astrologers to predict significant life changes, including career shifts, relationships, and health issues, with remarkable accuracy. Further, the karma theory in Vedic astrology is closely linked to the doctrine of reincarnation. It suggests that the planetary positions at birth reflect an individual's accumulated karmic depth from previous lives. This belief is embedded in the Garbhopanishad, which describes how the soul before birth chooses its future body based on the past actions. The ninth house in the birth chart, ruled by Jupiter in Kalpos Kundali, is often associated with past life karma because that is fifth from fifth, and divine grace influencing the individual's fortunes in the present life. The Navansa chart, D9 chart, divisional chart in Vedic astrology provides deeper insights into an individual's spiritual path and destiny. It is often consulted along with the main birth chart, Rashi chart, to understand the maturation of karmic influences over time. The Atmakar, planet representing the soul's journey, and its placement in Navansa chart reveal an individual's spiritual inclination and life lessons to be learned in this incarnation, talking about the Kalkansa. Moreover, the role of Rahu and Ketu, lunar nodes, is crucial in understanding karmic pattern. These shadow planets are not physical bodies but represent karmic forces that influences major life transformations. Rahu is as associated with unfulfilled desires from past lives, while Ketu represents detachment and spiritual liberations. The house placements of Rahu and Ketu indicate the karmic lessons one need to learn and the area where significant transformations will occur. The Rahu Ketu axis, how the life is revolving. The deterministic nature of Vedic astrology does not imply absolute fatalism, but rather a structured path where free will operates within karmic boundaries by understanding planetary influences and performing appropriate remedies, upayas, such as mantras, yagyas, donations, and wearing gemstones. Individuals can mitigate negative karmic influences and enhance positive outcomes. The remedial measures prescribed in Vedic astrology align with the Hindu spiritual practices and are intended to harmonize an individual's life with cosmic rhythm. So this is the foundation, philosophical foundation for the Vedic astrology. I would like to request Jyoti to go for.
So please, can you increase the font size a bit, little bit?
Better?
Yeah, thank you. So Western astrology, influenced by Hellenistic traditions and texts like Ptolemy Tetrabiblos, is more psychological and personality oriented. It evolved with Renaissance and modern psychological insights, focusing on self awareness, free will, and potential rather than predestination. Unlike Vedic astrology, that which sees fate as heavily influenced by past karmas, Western astrology adopts a more dynamic approach, allowing for personal growth and transformation. One of the key developments in Western astrology is its integration with psychological archetypes, particularly as seen in Carl Jung's work. Jung viewed astrology as a system of symbolic representation that mirrors the subconscious mind. The sun, moon, and planetary placements in Western astrology are often interpreted in terms of personal development, emotional growth, and individuation, the process of becoming one's true self. Western astrology also incorporates evolutionary astrology, which suggests that soul has a continuous journey of growth across lifetimes. Unlike Vedic astrology, which uses planetary positions to determine past karmic debts, Western astrology focuses more on an individual's potential for transformation. The North Node and South Node, known as lunar nodes, are used to explore life lessons and soul purpose through their interpretation, though their interpretation is often more flexible than in Vedic astrology. Another significant distinction is the concept of progressions and transits. While Vedic astrology relies on dashas for timing events, Western astrology uses secondary progressions, a symbolic method of advancing a natal chart over time, and transits, that is, real time planetary movements affecting the natal chart, to understand psychological and external changes. This method emphasizes self actualization, encouraging individuals to work actively with astrological influences rather than seeing them as fixed destinies. The zodiac sign in Western astrology are also understood as psychological archetypes rather than fixed destinies. For example, a person with a sun in Aries is seen as assertive and independent, but they have the free will to evolve beyond their inherent traits. Similarly, Western astrology assigns house rulerships and aspects that emphasize personal experience, relationships, and personal growth over deterministic fate. Often, Western astrology serves as a tool for self reflection, empowerment, and growth rather than a predictive or deterministic system. It integrates elements of psychology, spirituality, and free will, making it a flexible and evolving system that resonates with modern self development practices.
Thank you. And now the next, the criteria for differentiation is the zodiac system and calculations. So sidereal versus tropical zodiac. So one of the most fundamental difference between two systems lies in the zodiac system that need to understand by the newcomers or even practicing astrologers. In Vedic astrology uses the sidereal zodiac, which align planetary positions with reference to a fixed star, spica, in Chitra Nakshatra. That is a fixed star. That is the reference point. This result in a 23 to 24-degree shift. And that shift is the anamsa compared to the Western zodiac, meaning planetary positions in Vedic chart may differ significantly from those in the Western chart. So, you are drawing Western chart and you will find the planetary positions are, the positions are different. Now, go for Western astrology.
Western astrology uses the tropical zodiac, which aligns planetary positions with the equinoxes and seasons rather than fixed stars. This system is based on the Earth's axial tilt, ensuring that Aries always begin at the spring equinox. Because of this divergence, a person with a sun sign in Aries in Western astrology might actually be Pisces in Vedic astrology. So, this fundamental difference affects planetary interpretations house placements, and predictive techniques, leading to distinct approaches in both systems.
Thank you. Next criteria we have set out planetary lordship and aspects. So in Vedic astrology, recognizes only the traditional seven planets Surya, Chandra, Mangal, Buddha, Guru, Shukra, and Shani, plus Rahu and Ketu, lunar nodes. So traditional seven planets plus two nodes, that is the nine Navgraha. Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are not used as planetary rulers. Instead, Vedic astrology places greater emphasis on the visible celestial bodies and their deep connection to karma and human life cycles. The lunar nodes, Rahu and Ketu, are given significant importance as they are considered karmic control points influencing destiny, desires, and spiritual liberation. Now go for Western astrology.
So, Western astrology uses all traditional planets plus modern discoveries Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, assigning them co rulership over Aquarius, Pisces, and Scorpio, respectively. So, these outer planets are associated with collective transformation, deep subconscious influences, and generational shifts. Uranus represents innovation and sudden change. Neptune governs dream and spirituality. Pluto is linked to transformation and power dynamics. Their inclusion allows Western astrology to incorporate contemporary psychological and social perspectives into astrological interpretations.
Now,
Then
aspects.
aspects.
Yeah. So in Vedic astrology, it uses a structured aspect system based on whole sign drishti, which deeply rooted in the principles of planetary vision rather than degree-based calculations. The aspects means drishti define how planets exert their influence on and other houses and planets, with certain planets having a specific and powerful aspects, like Mars, casts its aspect on fourth, seventh, and eighth house from its position, indicating aggression, assertiveness, and drive in those areas. Jupiter aspects the fifth, seventh, and ninth house, bestowing wisdom, expansion, and blessings upon these areas of life. Saturn has its aspect on third, seventh, and tenth house, imposing discipline, delays, and karmic lessons. Rahu and Ketu, these shadow planets are believed to have a full 5, 7, and 9 house aspects considered karmic depth and desires. Although in my personal interpretations, what we learn from our parampara, um, we are just taking Rahu Ketu axis. So in my most of the interpretation you can find like that. But some of the acharyas are giving those aspects. So we kept that one. Other planets, Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Venus have seventh aspect. In general, they follow a conjunction-based influence rather than a strong directional aspects. In Vedic astrology, aspects are crucial in determining the overall strength and influence of a planet within the natal chart. The focus is not just on the geometric distance between planets, but on their functional roles in influencing different aspects of life. We kept this article up to the Brihat Parasa and the Jatak Parijat label only, because other classics are talking about the different distries also, we know. Yes, the Western one.
Okay, so Western astrology uses Ptolemaic aspects, which are based on exact degrees rather than whole signs. So the main aspects include a number one conjunction, so 0 degree, planets closely aligned, intensifying their combined energy. An opposition is 180 degree, planets in opposite signs create tension and balance. Trine is 120 degree, a harmonious aspect that enhances natural talents and ease. And square is 90 degree, a challenging aspect that drives growth through conflict. And sextile is 60 degree, a positive but less intense aspect, allowing for cooperation and opportunities. Western astrology places a strong emphasis on orb alliances, meaning the exact degree separation of planets determines the strength of the aspect. This system provides a more nuanced psychological and evolutionary perspective on how planetary energies interact in an individual's life. Outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, they play significant roles in shaping generational and subconscious influences, further differentiating Western astrology's approach from Vedic predictive methodologies. These differences in planetary lordships and aspects highlights how Vedic astrology maintains a deterministic karmic framework, while Western astrology allows for a more flexible, evolutionary, and psychological interpretation of astrological influences.
Now, house systems and interpretation. So, in Vedic astrology, primarily uses the whole sign house system, where each house corresponds to an entire zodiac sign. The sign in which the ascendant lagna falls become the first house, and the subsequent houses follow sequentially. This system maintains uniformity in house sizes and ensure clarity in planetary lordships, offering a straightforward method for analyzing planetary influences within each house.
Western astrology uses multiple house systems, such as Placidus, Koch, Equal House, and Porphyry, which divides the sky based on time and space rather than whole signs. The most common use is Placidus, which calculate houses based on the time it takes for a degree to rise, leading to variable house sizes. And this method allows for a more dynamic representation of planetary placements and their influences.
Now, house meanings. So, while both systems share broad similarities in house significations, such as the first house representing the self and the seventh house representing marriage, there are key differences in interpretation. Let's see 12th house differences. So, Vedic astrology, the 12th house is heavily associated with past karma, detachment, a spiritual liberation, means moksha, expenses, and foreign travel. It represents hidden aspects of life, including isolation, hospitals, ashram, prisons, and can indicate deep karmic depth that must be resolved.
So, in contrast, Western astrology, the 12th house is more psychologically oriented, representing the subconscious mind, hidden fears, dreams, and self undoing. It is linked to collective unconscious influences, secrets, and psychological blockages rather than solely past life karmic implications.
Now, for sixth and eighth house difference, Vedic astrology, the sixth house is strongly linked to death, disease, and enemies, serving a house of service, struggle, and overcoming obstacles. The eighth house represents sudden transformation, inheritance, longevity, deep esoteric knowledge.
So in Vedic astrology, the in Western astrology, the sixth house is associated with daily routines, health, and work ethics, while eighth house focuses more on psychological transformation, intimacy, and shared resources rather than strictly freight driven events. So overall, Vedic astrology integrates a deterministic and karmic perspective where houses are seen as an area of life shaped by past actions, while Western astrology emphasizes psychological and evolutionary growth, allowing for greater individual agency in interpreting life events.
Now, the timing techniques, that is another criteria they set out. So, in Vedic astrology, dasas, planetary periods. The Vinsotri Dasa system is the most widely used predictive technique, dividing a person's life into distinct planetary periods based on moon's position at birth. Each planetary period, Dasa, can last from 6 to 20 years, influencing different aspects of life with remarkable precision. Other Dasa systems like Ashtotri and Yogini Dasa provides additional layers of timing analysis, allowing astrologers to pinpoint major life events with accuracy. Transit or Gochar. Vedic astrology places significant emphasis on Saturn and Jupiter transits, as these slow moving planets shape long term trends. Saturn Sunny Gochar is particularly important as it is 7.5 year cycle, Sadesati, over the natal moon, can indicate hardships or major transformations. Jupiter transit, Guru Gochar, brings expansion and blessings to the house it occupies. Additionally, Rahu and Ketu transits create karmic shifts, often triggering major life changes.
So, Western astrology first is about progressions. This system is a symbolic method of timing life events, where each day after birth represent 1 year of life. The most common method, secondary progression, tracks the movement of the sun, moon, and inner planets, revealing shifts in personality, emotional growth, and personal evolution. For instance, a progressed sun moving into a new sign can indicate a major shift in identity and life purpose. Transits. Western astrology focuses on fast moving planetary effects, particularly from the outer planets Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, which influence generational and transformative changes. Uranus transit brings sudden breakthroughs. Neptune transit dissolve illusions and enhance spirituality, while Pluto transit triggered deep, often intense transformations. The role of Mars and Mercury transit is also crucial as they activate short term events, decisions, action. Additionally, Saturn's return around age 29 to 30 and 58 to 60 is considered a significant milestone marking maturity and responsibility. These timings techniques illustrate how Vedic astrology employs a structured, karmically driven approach to life events, while Western astrology offers a more psychological and evolutionary framework for personal development and transformation.
Now, the next criteria is rectification and predictive accuracy. Vedic astrology, birth time rectification. Vedic astrology has a highly precise rectification process to determine an accurate birth time, especially when the recorded time is uncertain. Technique includes, but not limited. First is the Prasna horary astrology, a specialized branch where the astrologer casts, where the astrologer cast a chart for the moment a question is asked, helping verify or refine birth details. Second is dasa corrections. By analyzing past life events, major events like marriage, childbirth, career shifts, and matching them against the Vinsotri dasa system, as astrologers fine-tune the birth time to align with known milestones. Navan chart adjustments. So the Navan chart adjustment is also one of the technique used for the BTR. Navan's chart D9 is a crucial divisional chart. It uses to cross-check planetary placements and fine-tune the ascendant degree for greater precision. Predictive accuracy. The deterministic nature of Vedic astrology with its karmic emphasis allows for highly specific event predictions. Dasa and transits Gochar provides precise timing for major life occurrence. Techniques such as Tajik annual horoscopes and Varspal solar return charts further refine short-term predictions with astonishing accuracy.
So Western astrology, birth time rectification, how is it done? Western astrology also employs rectification techniques, though it is often less deterministic. Methods include number one, solar arc directions, tracking how planets move symbolically in proportion to sun's movement helps refine birth detail. And second, life event correlation. Major transit, secondary progressions, and solar returns are used to backtrack and correct and approximate birth time. And last, a midpoint analysis. Sensitive planetary midpoints provide additional clues for refining the ascendant and midheaven. Predictive approach. Western astrology leans more towards psychological evolution and thematic trends rather than deterministic fate. Instead of rigid event prediction, it emphasizes number one, outer planet transits. Uranus, Neptune, Pluto transits influence long term transformation and growth rather than specific preordained events. Progressions and cycles, major life transitions, examples Saturn return, Chiron return, they are seen as periods of growth and self discovery. Overall, Vedic astrology excels in precise event based forecasting, while Western astrology offers a flexible psychological model that allows for personal development and conscious decisions making in navigating life challenges.
Now, the medical and financial astrology. So, medical astrology, Vedic astrologies, nakshatras, and Ayurvedic astrology. Vedic astrology incorporates nakshatras, lunar constellations, and Ayurvedas to assess health predispositions. Each nakshatra governs specific body parts and functions, allowing astrologers to predict potential ailments and suggests holistic remedies, including herbal treatments, dietary changes, and mantras. Dasa system for health diagnosis. The Binsotri Dasa system helps pinpoint periods when health issues may rise. For instance, an adverse Saturn or Rahu period may indicate chronic illness, while a strong Jupiter period may promote healing and vitality. Planetary associations, specific planets are linked to bodily functions, sun like heart, bones, vision, moon, mind, fluids, digestion, mass, blood, muscle, inflammation, Mercury, nervous system, skin, Jupiter, liver, growth, obesity, Venus, kidney, reproductive systems, Saturn, bones, joints, chronic disease, Rahu, toxins, psychological disorders.
Western astrology, natal planetary positions and aspects are important. In Western medical astrology, it focuses on placement of planets in specific houses and their aspects to determine health vulnerabilities. 6th, 8th, and 12th houses, these houses are crucial in identifying illness prone areas. Sixth house, like uh, daily health, chronic conditions, diet. Then eighth house for accidents, surgeries, deep seated issues. 12th house for hidden illnesses, hospitalization, mental health. Then planetary transits and progressions. Major transit of Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto are analyzed for potential health crisis, whereas progressions provide insight into long-term health trend. Holistic healing. Western astrology often incorporates psychological and alternative healing methods, emphasizing mind body connections.
And now, two criteria like financial astrology and remedial astrology or the spiritual practices, how we do that one. So you can go for that one if you are very much interested to get into this this article, if you really like, it's beneficial. So go for that one. And I'm going by the conclusion. So both Vedic and Western astrology offers valuable insights, but cater to different perspectives. Vedic astrology is deeply predictive, deterministic, and remedial, relying on precise planetary positions, dasas, and yogas to outline life events with remarkable accuracy. Rooted in the Vedas, it emphasizes karmas, fate, and spiritual evolution, offering remedies such as mantras, rituals, and gemstones therapy to mitigate negative influences. Western astrology, on the other hand, has evolved a tool for psychological self-discovery and growth. Influenced by Hellenistic traditions and modern psychology, it focuses on archetypal symbolism, personal potential, and free will rather than strict fate prediction. It emphasizes personal development through progression, transits, and psychological analysis. Each systems, either is Western or Vedic, each system has its strength, and integrating both approaches can provide a holistic understanding of human destiny and the personal growth. While Vedic astrology excels in predictive accuracy and karmic analysis, the predictive accuracy is coming in. And the Western astrology offers a self-reflective and transformative perspective, making astrology a versatile tool for a spiritual and psychological exploration. So whatever thoughts here, this is the thoughts of authors like us. We are the author and co-author for this article. So these are the personal, research what we did. So just you can go for it, and if you have any comments, any suggestions, any discussion points, then we are always open. So thank you very much. Jai Gurudev, Har Har Mahadev.
Thank you.
And you can get a brief note also about us, because we are just talking, but nobody knows who we are really. So you can have these things also. So briefly, the introduction also about us and about my colleague, Dr. Jyoti Arora. So thank you.
Thank you.